Making your dreams reality requires cleaning up blocks that keep you from having the dream. To identify blocks in making your dreams a reality, we must first look at where are we stuck, and that's really uncomfortable. It's usually that thing that keeps on happening in our life that we get so frustrated with. We feel like we keep getting in a miserable boss or a bad romantic partner, or we keep attracting things in our relationships that we don't want. Or our health, we feel like we're jinxed in some way. But that's actually where all the information is to determine where our own prosperity is really at, actually, but it's stuck. Usually there's a specific blockage that prevents us from having prosperity in our lives. Intellectually, this actually makes no sense. But at my core, there's this knowingness that there's an unconscious belief that is more powerful and really trumping our conscious beliefs. We have to be willing to look at that and own that and satisfy that to be able to heal it. Let's say you're a woman. You think you're not worthy as a woman for a certain kind of job or role. But in reality, making that assumption is actually what's blocking you from the opportunity from beginning that to take shape. As a recruiter, I see this all the time. I just talked to this amazing executive the other day. She has a background in technology that surpasses most men. And yet she constantly kept second guessing herself about, oh, well, I didn't do this, this, and this. Whereas men candidates tend to not do that. So a lot of times it's some sort of training or maybe a certain thing that we've done or we're used to or everyone around us does that we have to reprogram our brains around that. Let's say if you're overweight, maybe you think that people are not interacting with you the way you want them to based on how you look or your weight. But because you project that onward, it's oftentimes you who are living in that mindset and encouraging others to reflect that onto you. You may have that belief that you need protection around you and your body, so that requires that weight around you, and that subconsciously sort of pushes people. I've had people who thought this that I mentor who were actually really skinny, and they thought they were too fat, and that's why people were choosing to, treat them a certain way. But it was actually their mentality of showing and pushing away people that's what people were sort of reacting to. Maybe you have the belief that you are not good enough from being abandoned or ignored when you were young or some sort of crazy situation that sort of gave that sort of consciousness in your mind. So when prosperous opportunities come your way, you've already programmed and predetermined that you are not worthy of receiving them. I was definitely one of those. Really thought there was no way I was ever going to have much, amount to much in life or have much. So it took a lot of work to sort of retrain that and look at where those beliefs were so that I could create that and let those opportunities land on me. You may have a limited belief of self-love from not receiving adequate love from one of your parental figures as a child. This means people will put themselves in continuous unloving situations to replicate what being unloved looked like as a child. So I did that as well. What's interesting is that I thought love looked like pain and abandonment. And so I recreated that in my adulthood. And it took a lot of time to learn to retrain my mind about what really healthy love looks like and for that healthy love for myself as well. And then it created all of this prosperity and abundance once I did that. So for each of us, these current scenarios, it's important to take a look at, at the driving core belief that is blocking your prosperity. The hard part about this can be the emotional wounds, which prevent us from moving forward towards our prosperity. Like, really, who wants to face that? But we have to if we really want these things that we say that we want. And I have gone through it, and it has been hard, but it has been so rewarding, and I would not give it up for anything. I would not do it any differently now. So this can feel uncomfortable, that it is like a sign that you're, on the right path. If you feel uncomfortable, I promise you, you're on the right path. If we can sit and imagine that uncomfortable feeling as a fidgety child sitting on our lap, how do we make ourselves feel loved? So how can we love ourselves through this uncomfortability and just acknowledge, okay, I feel really uncomfortable about this. Instead of like pushing it away, we breathe into it, we cuddle it, we hold it. We must then consider, what is the feeling that is it trying to tell us? How can that feeling be comforted and held instead of trying to cut out of us, repel it from us? It's about listening to what we need to overcome these wounds and move past them instead of trying to reject them. Because just like when someone else rejects us, when we reject ourselves, when we reject our own beliefs, we're just rejecting the very things that we actually wanted. So it becomes this internal job about finding a way to embrace and love and be with these thoughts and beliefs that are keeping our prosperity away. It's not external things that need to change most of the times, but our internal beliefs about ourselves is usually what the key number one factor is in my experience. Once we open up the space in our lives by clearing the core wounds that are our obstacles, we then have space in our lives to magnetize the manifest and prosperous lives that we hope to have. And all those hopes and dreams and not our fears are what we then magnetize into our life. So I support you. Go into the uncomfortable. Uncomfortability is where, personally, my strength lies, and I believe it's where yours will lie as well, so that you can magnetize prosperity in your life. Go be uncomfortable.